most Nevada County residents have received mailers regarding Prop 50, officially known as Use of Legislative Congressional Redistricting Map Amendment. The amendment is a response to the Texas legislature's recent approval of a redistricting map redrawn 5 years earlier than usual to create 5 new districts in solidly Republican counties. The voters of Texas did not have a say in this. It was done solely by the state legislature at the behest of President Trump as a means to hold on to a slim majority in the House of Representatives after the 2026 midterm elections. Unlike Texas, the voters of California will have the opportunity to vote on this amendment on November 4th. So what exactly would happen if this bill passes? Prop 50 requires temporary use of new congressional district maps drawn by state legislature through 2030. It also directs the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to resume drawing the congressional maps in 2031, as they will regardless of Prop 50. 3 of the 5 seats that are most at risk of flipping to Democrats are District 1, held by Republican Doug LaMatha, District 3, held by Republican Kevin Kiley, which is our district, and District 41, held by Republican Ken Calvert, District 22, held by Republican David Valadao, and District 48, held by Republican Darrell Issa. There are several key milestones coming up to keep in mind in the run-up to the special election. October 6th, Nevada County Elections Office will begin mailing ballots. October 7th, ballot drop-off locations open. October 25th, vote centers open for early in-person voting. November 4th is Election Day. November 12th, last day to receive vote-by-mail ballots. Vote-by-mail ballots must be postmarked on or before Election Day. We are fortunate to have in our studio today Randi Swisley, Voter Services Chair for the Nevada County League of Women Voters. Full disclosure, Randi is also a volunteer here at Nevada County Now. Welcome to the studio again in a different capacity, Randi.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry,
you got it? You're all tangled up.
Yeah.
Also, full disclosure, I am co-president of the League of Women Voters of Nevada County, so we work pretty closely on a lot of this. But I've had the pleasure of observing how you do these deep dives into these voting rights issues, and this is one of them. Prop 50 is very quick. It happened over a matter of, a month maybe? And it's a bit shocking and very confusing for a lot of voters. So let's start at square one. What is a congressional district? Can you tell me in a real, short?
A lot of people haven't learned that since grade school. So yes, it's not a bad place to start. There's 2 halves of Congress. One is the Senate and the other is the House of Representatives. So the Senate is pretty cut and dried. Each state gets 2 representatives, done deal. In the House of Representatives, though, it's based on the population in your state. And so what they have to do is every 10 years after the census, they sit down and decide how many representatives you get in the House based on your population in your state. And then they draw districts in the state according to, they try and get it, close
proportional.
To this, the same amount of people in each district. And the states can use a number of different processes for that. Most states actually, the legislature just draws those districts. In California, back in 2010, we voted to have a Citizens Redistricting Commission draw our districts. And so in 2010 and then again in 2020, they were the ones that did it. And the thought is that it's more fair. It's, they're not trying to do anything to give any party an advantage. So that is at the crux of the proposition this time.
Okay, so got it so far. So what happened in Texas was that there was what they call a midterm redistricting because the congressional districts are only drawn every 10 years timed to the census. This is mid-cycle, so it's quite not just unusual, unheard of that this would happen. So California, as I understand it, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't want to confuse anyone any more than they already are. California said, or Governor Newsom said, if this legislation passes in Texas, we will do the same in California. And in California, it's a temporary measure.
Yes, yeah, very much so. So those are really the two main things to take away from it, is that it is temporary. So the Citizens Redistricting Commission will go back into effect in 2030 in the next census. But what Governor Newsom has decided to do, instead of going about it the same way that Texas went about it, where they just drew the maps in the legislature and the citizens didn't get to even say whether or not they thought that should be done.
Yeah.
Here, we will vote. And then if the proposition doesn't pass, if the majority of people that vote for it vote no, then we will stick with the maps that we currently have from the commission.
Okay, so the California voter is getting a chance to vote on whether or not they want this temporary redistricting map to be the law for now. Okay.
Right. And one thing, we didn't make clear, even though I think most people probably have heard this, is that the reason Texas did it was to give Republicans, their intent was to give Republicans 5 more seats in their House, their representatives. And so 50 here, Proposition 50 for us, is the intent is to give Democrats 5 more seats, just to offset the whole thing. Even though everybody, when we go to the polls in Texas and in California, it's going to be voters that decide.
Right. And I do need to say that the California League of Women Voters has just announced that they are not taking a position on this proposition. Mm-hmm. They want to leave it up to the voters. And that's not so uncommon. The League of Women Voters at the California and National League levels often do not take positions on various propositions. And This is one they've decided too dicey. They're not going to go near it. They're going to let the voters decide. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. So we have this kind of race to the polls on November 4th. What is the most important thing that voters can do? I know, where are the sources of information? Because really this is, I think, the League's intent is to send out as much nonpartisan information, educate the public so they can make an informed vote as possible. Mm-hmm. So where are the sources for people to actually continue to, because things are changing on a daily basis. What do you suggest the everyday user, voter, user too, busy all day, this isn't top of mind necessarily. No, yeah, so how can they stay informed?
Yeah. Well, for starters, you can ignore anything that comes to you in the mail. Oh. In order for that, or you can ignore any ad that's put on TV. In order for that to happen, somebody needed to drop some serious money to do that. Mm-hmm. And the people that do that, they drop that money, they spend that money because they're very interested in influencing the way you vote. And because this is on such a short time frame, they can pretty much say whatever they want, because even if they got sued or they were told to take it out or whatever, the election would have already happened. So I'll guarantee you'll get incorrect information in anything that is mailed or like I said, on the
or social media.
Or social media.
So follow the money. Good advice.
Yeah. So to tell you the truth, the reason I am a member of the League of Women Voters is because they are a very rare organization in that they do impartial analysis. And you can always get impartial analysis. Like you said, sometimes they'll do advocacy for certain measures, but you could also always get the impartial information. There's kind of 2 halves of the organization. And so that's what the most important thing I would say is don't be influenced by anyone else. This is your vote, and respect yourself enough to vote the way you want. There's only 2 places I can think of that you can go to. Well, you can go to the Secretary of State's webpage. Sure. And you can see it right now. They've already done the voter guide, or whatever they call that thing that you get in the mail. They've already done that online, so you can read that. There's also a site called Ballotpedia, and they do a really good job of being impartial. And then you can log on to our website, LWV Nevada, or it's legal, what is it? LWV Nevada County, right?
.org, yes.
.org.
So what's interesting is that I read recently that the county is estimating that this will cost our county $700,000
Yes, and
to run this special election.
Yes, I thought that was a large number. When I first saw it, I went, oh my gosh. And then I looked at the budget for Nevada County, and the budget is $450 million. And so I did the math. I just took $700,000 and divided it by $450 million. You're talking about less than 1%. In fact, it's not even a tenth of 1%. It's like way over. So it really is kind of a drop in the bucket, sad to say. You know, everything is so expensive.
Yes, of course. And then to make things more complicated here in Nevada County, Natalie Ardana, our election or the head of the elections office, and has left. She's gone to another county, Marin, and so we have an interim director, Corey O'Hare. So I'm sure he's doing a marvelous job, but I mean that's just a lot for him to take on and the office to take on. Yeah,
yes, that's true.
Well, we will continue to follow. Of course, this is a very important story, and we will continue to relay information as it comes on. Let's just hope it goes as smoothly as possible for our state.
Okay.
Thanks, Randi. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Okay.